Hey, Tim Blankenship here with Divorce661.com. And in this episode, I want to talk about why it's better to stipulate, if possible, than litigate. And what I'm referring to is I had a client, not a client, but a prospective client call yesterday, and he had spoken with an attorney and they wanted to basically reduce or make child support zero. And this can be regarding anything. I just wanted to give the specific scenario. And what they had going on was pretty clear cut. They had an issue where the change in income would dictate that the child support would be zero. And so my first thing, because said I had already talked to an attorney and they wanted to charge me $3,500 to take this to court and file a motion to modify the child support. And I said, well, if it's that clear cut, why would your spouse not want to just stipulate to this? And he didn't know what that meant. So the stipulation means if you guys are in agreement and it's something that is obvious and it would be something that obviously would be ordered by the court. I say, why go through all the motions of going through the court to get an order? A lot of people think to get an order they have to go to court, but a stipulation can be drafted. So I said, before we file this motion and go through court and get her served and all this, if it's this clear cut, why don't we draft a stipulation to the support, show her show her the evidence or show her the research that shows it would go down to zero, and see if we can get her to agree and avoid all of the court costs. And I've talked about this in the past, and it's just better to agree, if you guys can, than going to court. So I always ask folks who say, Tim, I want to modify and get a new court order. I say, are you guys in agreement? It's going to be easier and cheaper. And I had given him a lot of good information. He said, he had talked to two attorneys and then talked to me, and he said that we, even though we're not attorneys, gave him better information. I should say more and better information than the two attorneys combined. And he asked me why I thought the attorneys didn't bring up a stipulation in like I did. And he said, look, and this is what I told him. I said, this is a money game for the attorneys. They're not going to tell you an easy way. The more difficult and time consuming it is, the more money they can charge you. And he had been quoted $3,500. And in fact, I told him I was surprised it was $3,500 because that's a pretty low retainer, even for, something like this. And he said, yeah, that's true, that the attorney was an associate and had to get permission from the, what do you call them? The higher up attorneys, the partner attorneys of the firm to take less than I think he said $4,500 retainer was their minimum. So what we're going to do for him is a stipulation. It cost him a couple $100. If she doesn't agree to sign the stipulation, we'll go through with the request for order. That'll only cost him a couple $100. So this is something that we do. This is a service we provide. You don't need to spend $3,000 or $4,000 on this. It's just silly. Attorneys are not going to tell you that because they want your money. It's just the way that things work, and we work off of volume, so we don't have to dig in and take all your money for something that's pretty clear cut. Tim Blankenship, Divorce661.com. Give us a call if you have any questions. We can help you with any family law related matter throughout California.